and good morning to you all. I hope you're ready for lesson 2 of reading this week. So I'm just going to start by going through the answers to the work I set you yesterday. So if I go through retrieval first, the answers are in red here. Where is Poppy? She's on a train. What is she wearing? A corduroy dress. Who does she try to phone? Her gran. And how long was the train in the tunnel for? 8 seconds. Now, for task number two, drawing a picture of what she looks like based on what we've read. Um, as you all know, I'm not an artist, and I'm certainly not going to have a go at drawing on my laptop because it would probably look like something a 2-year-old's drawn. So I will leave that one with you and perhaps ask your parents to check or send it in to me and I can tell you if it's correct. I've already had some through. Task number 3. How does Poppy feel to be on the train? Explain your answer and give evidence. Now, there are quite a few different answers you could have here really for this type of question. These are just a couple that I've come up with, but I'll go through what some other children have posted in a minute. So I've put, how does Poppy feel? You could say she feels worried because it says straight away in the text, Poppy had been worried for a long time. And notice I've got my inverted commas to show that these lines here are directly from the text. You could say she's brave because it says in the text Poppy wasn't worried though. Now, I've put here nervous or relaxed because you could have either point and you could have this evidence with it. So you could say Poppy's nervous because her heart chugged in time to the train's engine. Or you could say she's relaxed because her heart chugged in time to the train's engine. And the word chugged means slow. So if a car's chugging, it means it's slowing, it's taking a while to get going. Now, I could go on and on my list, and I'm just going to show you actually what some children have submitted in yesterday to us as some examples of the work. So we've got Ethan here. Well done, Ethan. Massive shout out to you. Working really, really hard. So Ethan has put worried, again, the same as me because it said she'd been worried for a long time. Oh, that's a good one. She's panicking because her heart was galloping. Annoyed, Poppy was annoyed at the graffiti and picked up can't read that word, picked up something, mistake in picked out their mistake in the word lookout. Yeah, well done, Ethan. Really, really good answers. Right, then I've got Noraldin's. What's Noraldin put? Worried. Poppy was worried for a long time. Nervous. Poppy's heart chugged. Good. So he had the same as I put. Timid. Now, timid means shy, I would say, the closest synonym. You could say timid. That would fit there. Flushed cheek. Yep. So if someone's cheeks are flushed, it could mean they're shy. Although I'm not sure, Noraldin, in that context, it does mean that she's shy. Then we've got Freya's work here. Freya has said fed up. That's a good inference. She's feeling fed up. Stop being so boring, she says to herself. Confident, yep, so brave, confident, both the same thing. Because she says I'm not worried. Scared, she held her breath. Worried, Poppy's heart chugged. Yep, you could say that. That would be a good inference. Creative, in a creative mood. Well done, Freya. Really good inferences. And then we've got Robbie's. So Robbie has put for his, he's got quite a few. Well done, Robbie. Really, really good work. Nervous, Poppy, been worried for a long time. Good. Brave, I'm not worried, she told herself. Anxious, breathe, she told herself, breathe. Calm, scared, and afraid. Yep, they all look really correct. So well done to those guys for submitting their work and keeping up what we'd expect in school. Really, really good work. Okay, moving on then to today's lesson. Now we're going to carry on reading the text. So we've already read, we know it's about a girl, Poppy. She's on a train. she's traveling somewhere. Um, she's tried to phone her gran, but she couldn't get through. So we're going to carry on reading before I give you the next few questions to have a go at. And remember, when you read or when you listen to me, you can pause as much as you want, and obviously you can go back to the text afterwards when you answer the questions. So let's carry on reading. Glancing down the long swaying carriage, she noticed, perhaps for the first time, a tall woman at the other end beside the sliding doors. She was looking straight ahead out of the window, her hands clasped around a thin silver cane. She doesn't look as if she needs a cane, Poppy thought to herself quietly. If people did need support getting about, they would use a walking frame nowadays, or one of those nippy little mobility scooters, or those chairlifts that old people sometimes have on the stairs. The lady was wearing a velvet jacket with an assortment of glittering pins. On her head was a silver cap, and from it poked a feather so curled that it almost vanished against the dark rings of hair spiralling out from underneath. The lady was smiling, a smile that said she knew Poppy was watching her. Without looking away from the window, the lady removed one of her green gloves and dipped her hand into her pocket, just long enough for Poppy to see her knobbly fingers. Poppy's heart gave a thump in her chest. The lady's hands weren't like her face at all. Her face was like glass, but her hands were like speckled paper. Poppy turned away for a moment, but only so far that she could still see what was happening. From her pocket the lady pulled a small purse that was the same colour as her jacket. Opening the purse, she found a compact mirror, and adjusted one of her curls a little with a hooked finger. To either side of the train the black trees of the woods which surrounded Suds rose above them like twisted chimneys. Poppy hadn't noticed the second tunnel approaching, and before she knew it they were plunged into darkness. She held her breath again and counted. 1, 2, 3. She heard a sharp tap on the carriage floor. 4, 5, 6. She closed her eyes. 7, 8, 9. Daylight flooded back in, and Poppy could see the rusty eaves of Suds Station up ahead. She looked around the carriage. The lady was gone. How could she be? The train had only been in the tunnel for 9 seconds. Perhaps she'd just moved along to the next carriage. But Poppy hadn't heard the doors sliding open. The voice over the train speaker garbled something about "take all belongings with you" and "this train terminates here." She heaved her backpack onto her narrow shoulders and positioned herself beside the doors. Then she noticed the lady's purse lying forgotten on a seat. It was almost the exact same colour as the quiet green fabric on the carriage upholstery. Poppy wouldn't have noticed it if she hadn't been spinning in circles as she struggled to squeeze her arm through the strap of her bulging backpack. The doors opened. A sharp gust of autumn wind plunged into the carriage, and instead of thinking like she always did, Poppy snatched the purse and stuffed it into one of her wonderfully big pockets. Okay, so we still know Poppy's on the train. We know that she's travelling to this place. We know that she has seen some woman, somebody that she feels a little bit uneasy around. So what I want you to think about for task 1, and we have done this so many times that you should be experts at doing these types of questions. Why has the writer used the word or phrase? So my example is at the top here, and these are all phrases from the text. Her hands clasped around a silvery cane. So we know that when we do these types of questions, the first thing we need to do, and I've actually highlighted the words in yellow for you to look at, is we need to know actually what do these words in yellow or what do these phrases mean to help us answer the question. So to know what the word clasped means, well, I actually need to unlock it first, and I need to think actually what does that word mean and why has the writer used it. So I know from my knowledge that clasped is a verb, and I know that if somebody's clasping something, it means they're holding it quite tightly. So I've already done step 1 and 2 because I've worked out that it's a verb, and I know that a synonym for it is it means to hold something tightly. Now, we then know that we have to start our answer with this suggest or these words suggest. But you need to be specific in your answer as to what the writer's describing. So in my answer, I've put, this suggests she is holding the cane tightly. So you need to really make sure for these questions you include actually not just a synonym for the words in yellow, but actually what is it describing. So this suggests she is holding the cane tightly. Remember, we've spoken about this in class a lot. If you do just use the same word that's in the question, then obviously you wouldn't get it right. So if I had put, this suggests she is clasping the cane tightly, well, I'm actually just repeating what I've already been given. So have a go at that for the four phrases below, and really look at those words in yellow and unlock what they mean first, and think about why is the writer use those words. Task 2. Obviously, take into account yesterday's lesson as well when you do this. Write down 3 I wonder questions you have about the text so far. So, think about what you've read. What might you be wondering as you're reading this if this was your book at home? And don't forget your question mark at the end. And then task 3. Again, thinking about yesterday's lesson as well. So you might want to watch or listen to the story again back to yourself. What are your impressions of Poppy so far from what we've read? And I've highlighted Poppy in yellow because this question is just about Poppy, not about the other woman, not about her gran, not about the train. What are your impressions of Poppy so far from what we've read? You can either set it out in a table like I've done here, or you can write it as a short paragraph, but try and have maybe 3 on each side. So those of you that did it yesterday, some of you did 3, Robbie did a lot, but have a go at those 3 tasks. And as always, if you're not sure of something, get in touch with us. But really, really proud of you all. Really good to see you all submitting work, and keep it up. Have a great day. Take care, all of you. Bye.